Good afternoon and welcome everyone to Wednesday night Delray meditation class. It's been a long time. My first shout outs to all you Delray attendees who I haven't seen in about 3 months. Quarantine's been a long time. And also there's new ones out there from places afar, near and far, because even though we are now physically separated, we're globally linked. Let's start. The title of today's class: To adapt is to transform. I wanted to come out here in the garden and show you something. Let's see if it works. Can you see that? What's that look like? Most people would say it's a cocoon. But for purposes of today's class, let's call that quarantine for a caterpillar. A cocoon is nothing but a quarantine for a caterpillar. Often, these people that come Wednesday notice the sidewalk art. I don't think it really shows here, but I will show you a little drawing of a butterfly. It's a symbol. And then transform. And then back to me. Okay, let's get started. Transformation. That's a big word. It's a trendy word. It's really a destination. It's not something you can just arrive at. It's something you get to. So what is the how-to? What's the process to arrive at transformation? I'll give you another word. Well, first of all, how do you feel about the word transformation? It sounds fantastic to me, kind of spiritual, revolutionary. But the word, in order to get there, is more humble in nature, and that word is to adapt. How does that word sound to you? Most of us think that adapting is making less of ourselves, bending, tolerating, etc. It doesn't mean that. It just means trying something new. Or as I did see a class on this platform, on this channel earlier, by the two brothers in Miami, Dev and VJ, and they had a class entitled Small is Great. And the whole point of that was just small little steps you can start with, and they bring you to your destination. You don't have to start at transformation. You start at adaptation. So first, let's just talk about, as a way of relating, let's talk about the life cycle of a caterpillar butterfly. After it comes out of the little egg state, it's something like a little green worm crawling on its belly. It eats and it crawls. And then it eats and it crawls. Then maybe it hides to keep itself from being eaten. Again, it crawls a little more, eats a little more. Perhaps it has the ability to camouflage itself so that it doesn't look like food. It looks like the plant. More eating and crawling. Some even can make themselves poisonous so that animals know not to touch them. It eats and crawls and eats and crawls. And when it has eaten enough, when it has eaten enough of the knowledge of how to be, it suddenly stops. And it realizes that it can no longer go on the way it has been. It must make a change. It must adapt. And therefore, it begins to spin a cocoon. And once inside, it surrenders. And that's the beginning of the stage. And that's also very similar to what we're experiencing now. Think of quarantine as being a cocoon. We're all in the cocoon of quarantine. Actually, I find that a little bit comforting, as I've mentioned before, that the whole world is going through this experience. It's not people of a certain religion or nationality or ethnic group or political party. It's definitely an equal opportunity virus. So it's the same for all of us. We're all sharing in the one experience. And so there's an ironic sense of unity, and that feels good. I've noticed that the conversations are a little more sincere. The pace is a little more gentle. So life's not all bad in quarantine. And this is the point. Our responses and our reactions are very different to the same common cause. Some are feeling anxiety, frustration. Others are experiencing comfort. They're glad to get some time off work. Maybe they enjoy spending more time with their family. Some don't want to spend so much time with their family, or they're getting angry at everyone, or they're just bored to death, or they're feeling shut in. Others feel peaceful, serene, and even happy. You have all the knowledge of this already. One common cause, many, many reactions. What makes the difference? Choice. Choice is what makes the difference. So in this moment, we have the unique opportunity to change. It's our cocoon. That little caterpillar goes inside the cocoon, and when it emerges, it's not even the same creature it once was. It now has wings. It flies. It's translucently beautiful, and it drinks nothing but nectar. So from crawling on its belly to a translucent flying being, if a caterpillar can do it, what can I do? So that's where we start today. Let me find mental clarity, the space, the flexibility to move and bend, and when necessary, stand fast and face. This is adaptation in practical. It's really survival of the fittest. And that's what happens in the animal kingdom. They either survive or die. Back to like Darwin's book, it wasn't called evolution. It was known as, or it's titled, Adaptation of the Species, meaning adapt or die. But being human beings, we are a little more sophisticated. It's not adapt or die. It's adapt or become irrelevant. Adapt or become irrelevant. A quick example, back in the 70s and 80s, the main way to listen to music was cassette tapes. Everyone walked around with their Walkman. That's another thing that's gone by the way. The main companies that made cassette tapes were very, very wealthy, and now they're out of business. Because it didn't matter how much profit they make, how they saved money, how quickly they could get tapes made. Tapes were no longer necessary. They weren't prepared to try a new line of music, so they're out of business. That's irrelevance. Even more timely is how you're seeing me right now. Facebook Live, Zoom. Did you ever hear of Zoom 4 months ago? I know I didn't, and I never thought of even being on such a thing, but now it's the way that we communicate. Socially distanced, globally connected. In fact, in many ways, I'm closer to people than I've ever been because of this. Where otherwise, if you're face to face, you can't see them. You just don't make it. So let's get a definition here. To adapt is to mindfully respond to uncertainty. To adapt is to mindfully respond to uncertainty. You don't really know if the adjustment's going to work or not. All you need to do is take that first step. And so there's a process. The first thing we need is awareness. Awareness of the situation, that maybe things need to change, but you don't know what that change is. So it's awareness where you try to figure out what it is you want to do. Then the adaptation is putting into action. There's a result then. If that result is unsuccessful, you go back and drill again. You try it over again. And then you learn by that, just the same as going to school. You go back every day until you get it right. It'll prepare you for life. Awareness, adapt, experience. So when the adaptation works, there's a positive experience. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the experience that it's more than knowing about something, it's experiencing it. Like, it's better to be happy than to know about happiness. So my experimentation with adaptation ends with an experience, and that in turn leads us to transformation. So let me repeat that, 4 parts of the cycle. Awareness, adaptation, experience, transformation. Okay. That's a lot of words, so time to take a little meditation break. How about a minute meditation? So let's sit up. I like to put both feet flat on the ground so I feel grounded, and just lay your arms on your legs. Sit up tall so that your spine is as erect as possible. And that's already setting you up for success. Now let's take several deep breaths. Inhale. And release it. Actually do it. Everyone do it. Come on. Inhale. Exhale. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, I'm going to give a series of words now, and just listen. Silence. Just that one word. Silence. And see how that affects you. Silencing the mind does not mean being totally quiet. It's reaching a state of sweet peace. It's peaceful and sweet at the same time. Silence. Continue to breathe. As I am more and more silent, I begin to focus the intellect. And as I focus my intellect, I concentrate my mind on silence. Just a very, very simple practice. And now let's introduce some of the thoughts. I become aware. I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm aware of the situation. But most importantly, I become aware of myself and how I'm thinking. I focus my intellect on that which empowers me. I'm experiencing peace. Silence. It doesn't take long, only a second. And I suggest it's something you can practice with throughout the day. You don't need to set yourself up. You don't need to have incense burning. You don't need to be in a meditation room. You can do it right from your driver's seat of your car when you're at a stoplight. You got the red light, keep your eyes open. You got the red light right in front of you, and just look at it. And instead of getting frustrated or upset because you're being held back from getting to where you want to go in a hurry, say, thank you for giving me a chance to control the traffic in my mind with silence. And then when the light turns green, that means go. And I've even had the experience of, as well, I wish that had lasted a little bit longer. Be aware, adapt, experience, transform. So it's not a lot of words that we're looking for. I want to leave you with just the experience, some very simple things, a few words like this one. Is it lockdown or is it liberation? Is it lockdown or is it liberation? So just get yourself silent first. That's how we start, because the mind is too busy otherwise. I am able to concentrate my intellect, concentrate my mind, and then put in the information that I want. Awareness. Awareness that when I come out of this lockdown, who am I going to be? We don't know what's going to be out there. In fact, a lot of people are saying, I want to get back to my life the way it was, but here's a news flash. It's not going to come back the way it was. Some of these changes are permanent. Masks are going to remain with us. Social distancing is always going to be something you hear about. How long will it be before you don't get nervous when you hear someone sneezing and coughing in public? These are things that are there now. This is a once in a century event has happened. This is an event that happens even less than that, once in a century. I bet none of you even heard of the 1918 Spanish flu before until this, because we forget very easily. But this generation is not going to forget. So is it lockdown or liberation? It's your choice. It could be whatever you want to be. To make the decision to enter the cocoon, to give up our old way, return to the world not weakened, not behind, but translucent and able to fly. This is what the butterfly does. It returns from quarantine, translucent, able to fly. It emerges like that. So let that stay with you as you go out there. Let's emerge. Let's not just go back. Let's emerge to something new. We have no idea what that's going to be, but you do know who you are now. You can make the choice now. Do the best action that is in front of you now, and then whatever the results are will take place on their own. So don't get attached to the results. Just continue to do your own best action that's in front of you now. And I'll just leave you with those 4 words again. Awareness, adapt, experience, transform. Because when it comes down to it, we want what we know to become our experience. We want what we know to become our experience. Om Shanti. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you soon. Bye.